All right, today we're sitting in probably one of the cleanest warehouses, factories I've ever been to. This man have built well-oiled machine, absolutely impressive operation, but he is not a roofer. He is not. He does not have manufacturer background. So we're gonna start right there, Austin. I want to know, what did you do before this? List all the jobs, full-time jobs that you hold
Okay.
before starting your business.
Wow. Okay. First, I was at a go-kart place. I worked at a go-kart place and got fired from that, from letting all the pretty girls ride for free. So then after that, I worked in several restaurants, eventually finding myself at one of those teppanyaki restaurants where like the hibachi,
Yeah.
where I had the hat and I cooked in front of people and
Okay.
stuff.
So you've done that?
Yeah, dude. Can you imagine a 6'4", 18-year-old working at a hibachi place? That's not the person you want to see when you go in there.
I've spent last 24 hours with this guy. This guy loves to cook. Is that where it's
I
coming
love
from?
to cook. I love to cook. That was one of the first cool cooking jobs I've got. And then after that, I started with my father, who owned a manufacturing facility. He built and sold folding sectional work platforms, barges for shoreline construction, bridge work, all that kind of stuff. I eventually started there mowing grass, and then I became a forklift driver, and then I grinded welds, I sandblasted.
So your dad put you all the way in the
All the way in the very bottom. I cleaned bolts when I was like 8. I was like doing whatever. And it eventually led me into hydraulics, welding, purchasing, accounting, then sales and all that kind of stuff. And through all that stuff, I would take breaks, go out and try to do my own thing. I did try to do college for a while, try to do a lot of jobs like work in restaurants, serving, things like that on those breaks. But ended up being with my father at the end before this.
How big was your father's company at that time as you've grown up? Like lots of employees? Big-
Oh yeah, so like in the beginning probably around 30. Now he's halfway exited that business at 120.
Wow.
120 in this area.
But your dad did not. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Did you grow up rich or poor? And talk to me about the relationship with your father. About
I
that.
grew up white. I think white privilege probably exists. I know that should be like a bad thing you shouldn't talk about, but it's funny. No, like I grew up with money. I know people love to say like, "Oh, it's so hard," and I grew up poor. No, I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't grow up poor. My dad, though, was very good about making me work for everything. There was always the other side of that. If I asked him for $100, he would give me that $100, no problem. If I want to go to the movies or take a girl out or go with my friends, buy video games, whatever I was going to do. But there'd always be a connotation to that. Be like, all right, you're going to wash and wax all the vehicles. You're going to clean the stairs. You're going to do all that stuff. There wasn't just, yeah, no problem. Here you go. Do whatever you want. And I had to weigh those things. How much do I want to go to the movies to how much I want to wax and wash all of the cars? And some of them are huge, like 59 Cadillacs, like huge cars. And I'm like, I don't think that's fun. I don't want to do that. But he was really good at it. But there's no shame in the game. Like I grew up very privileged. I got to do a lot of cool things. And a lot of that was work. I got to go with him and learn how to weld and use a cutting torch, like the acetylene torches. When I was a teenager, and I got to go then travel on business calls and go meet people. I was on private jets very early on, going to Mexico to check on manufacturers and things like that. People don't get exposed to that all the time, and I felt really lucky. And like the term privileged and stuff came up probably 7 years ago or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I was probably privileged.
So would you say you learned your business from your dad?
I definitely took a lot of the things that he did well. And the stuff that I was exposed to, it wasn't that unfamiliar to me. Like if you're going to start a fast food place, you better have worked in a fast food restaurant so then you can mirror some of the stuff. For me, obviously, he never did roofing. He never did windows. He never did siding. He never did, soffit fascia, gutters, anything like that. But the manufacturing and the installing, the technicians and how the service stuff went, how he treated customers and how he got business, how he developed relationships over time with suppliers or customers. That's some of the stuff that I took into account when I had this, even like as far as payroll. Like I know that when you started your stuff, part of being a business owner, even when you had a roofing company, payroll is such a huge part of that. Yeah. That's not something they teach in school at all. Like, and I don't know if you went to college or not, but like that's a really different thing. Like we all know how to put a screw into a wall or a roof or something like that, but like how to find out FICA and state tax, county tax, and how much to save for IRS bills, or where to find the best accountants, what you should look out for, and what you should pay people's salary, hourly, 1099.
So you learned it from your dad?
I learned all that stuff from my dad, and it became a little bit more familiar to me, and I think that's why I got off to a really decent start really fast. I was solvent in 5 weeks.
Love it.
I borrowed $25,000 from my dad to start the business, and I gave him the title of my truck because obviously not something for nothing. He needed the title to my truck to give me 25,000 bucks. But I was solvent in 5 weeks. I had paid him back. Everything was good, and we were even in 5 weeks. But that's because I knew all that stuff from working on all those different places and those different jobs. So.
Love it. Do you consider yourself self-made, or that you inherited almost because you have dad and he gave you a loan and stuff? He helped you with the success.
Ooh, great question. I hate you for asking. I think that no, I do not consider myself self-made. All of my success is based on everyone around me. That's it. That's the whole thing. Friends, family, everything, mentors, they have all propped me up. Like, I don't take anything that I've did on my own. No, I didn't get here doing it myself, and I couldn't have. And it's not because of me we're successful at all. It's because the guy that I started stuff with, it's because of the first manager that I hired, it's because of the first, great sales guy that I had, it's the first blah, blah. It's all these people, and it just keeps on rolling and getting better. And maybe meeting you is like the next great thing that I think about. Is like, yeah, well, he was cool at 10 million, but like when he made 20 million bucks a year, that's because he met this person, propped him up. There's always like another thing that I go, well, this is why this happened at this point. And it's not because I worked harder or I was that much smarter or more diligent or that kind of stuff. It was just because I was good to those people and they're good to me. And that was pretty much the basis of my success.
Is anyone self-made, if you put it that way? Because nobody is self-made if you think about it. There's always
man. You would say, and you I make an argument just to be be obtuse to you.
Sure.
Like app designers and things like that. People that have a good idea that go run with it and sell it for millions of dollars. I would consider them self-made people.
But they also have people, mentors, and opportunities around them someone who opens the doors for you. And
sure. You could always give it up to someone else. We give it up to God. We give it up to whoever. But we just talked about earlier is like YouTube. Like you can learn anything you want on YouTube. Yeah. So like you can really be self-made. There's people online right now that are building furniture at their house because they saw a video of a guy building furniture on YouTube and they just want to do it and they copied and made it better and blah, blah, and now sold their patents or did whatever without any funding from other people, without all their friends helping them out and all that stuff. I think you could be self-made. I just don't take any credit at all, doing that kind of stuff.
I like that attitude.
Yeah.